this as clearly as I can. We are going to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. We will not be deterred from this course. And in a matter of days, we will be taking brand new action to protect our people and keep America safe. You will see the action. I will never, ever apologize for protecting the safety and security of the American people. I won't do it.
Is anyone here going to say that this is a Muslim ban, these 7 countries?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
All right, let me put up on... You're going to say that, Imam? All right, let's put up on the screen, because we'll look at the list of countries that are not included. Afghanistan, look it up, read it all. Albania, Algeria, Azerbaijan. Look at this. Oh, Bangladesh, 156.1 million. They're not included. Or Indonesia, 258.3 million Muslims, not included. Or Egypt, 94.6 million, not included in the list. Watch, it keeps going. And then you have Kuwait and Kosovo and all these other big countries. Or look at Pakistan, which has 201.9 million Muslims. How could you say 7 countries that the Obama administration identified that this is a Muslim ban when all those countries aren't included? How do you say that? That's ridiculous.
It's interesting. First of all, Sean, I was listening very patiently to everyone, and I think, Sean, is not fair. This fear-mongering and hate-mongering that you are promoting.
What did I say that's hateful?
It is really, and talking about Islamic threat, there is no such a thing as Islamic threat. The real threat is ignorance and injustice and arrogance and this poverful false propaganda. And regarding this,
so you're calling me a liar, Imam? Imam, wait a minute, whoa. You're questioning my integrity. I have one request. Name one thing on this show that I said tonight that is not true. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Name one. Name one.
It's not personal. You know.
No. You said I'm propagandizing. It's personal now. You made it personal.
I heard this.
Name one thing that I've said on this show tonight that's not true.
Islamic threat is not true.
Name one.
Islamic threat is not true.
Tell that to the people of San Bernardino, Chattanooga, Fort Hood.
It's not Islam. Some Muslims, some Christians, some Jews,
they do it in the name of your religion.
They are radical.
They are radicals, but they are not running around with a machete cutting people's heads off and killing them while sleeping, screaming Allahu Akbar. We are not seeing Jewish terrorism around the world. We're not seeing Christian terrorism around the world. We're not seeing Buddhist terrorism around the world. We are seeing Islamic terrorism around the world.
She has said it. She has made a bigoted remark. She has said it is too bigoted. She said there is a Muslim attack around the world. That is bigoted.
I'm asking you to cooperate. Listen, everybody slow down. Here's the reality, though. All of these murders that are happening in every terrorist event, there is a common theme. Allahu Akbar. God is great. Hang on.
Sure,
Frank Gaffney was next.
There's Americans here.
We haven't gotten you it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say, Madam, if you haven't brought up yet,
what's up?
The radicalization in this country, the second generation. My biggest fear right now is the guy who killed in Orlando. He was a second generation Afghan refugee. The guy who planted the bombs here in New York, he was a second generation Afghan refugee. The guy who went to the Minnesota Mall, he was a second generation Somalia refugee. So these are my issues you have to bring up.
Let me ask you, you are the founder of Muslims for Trump.
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, the Imam who called me a propagandist a moment ago, I'll accept your apology later. The Imam says, is there anything I've said on this show that's not true?
No, you are very right. And matter of fact, to be honest with you, since you have given me a second to explain why Donald Trump and Muslim, because I saw the relief in him, matter of fact. We are a victim. All these radicals or terrorist organizations, they have killed more Muslims, and we have no relief in sight. Donald Trump was the only one.
I have one follow-up question. So I show the Imam the list of 40-some-odd countries. 90% of the world's Muslims are not impacted by this, but he insists on calling this a Muslim ban.
Not at all. I mean, as a matter of fact, frankly speaking, this was Obama's list.
Right.
It was Obama's list.
That's Obama's list. That's right.
I don't know why they have
I pointed out, Imam.
You know, these 7
you want to apologize
in reality, the countries that attacked us, we are welcoming them. The country that we attack them, we are ban them. So we bombed them, and now we ban them.
Coming up, we'll play more of Sean's audience show on extreme vetting, the Islamist threat. Stay with us.
How How many of you think radical Islamists are at war with America? Show of hands. No?
No.
Why?
Because I don't accept the term Islamist.
Well, if people indoctrinate and kill in the name of Islam, in other words, if you tell your child that 72 virgins await you in heaven if you go blow up innocent men, women, and children, is that not radical Islamic terror? Is that not taking a religion, perverting it, and turning it into what they call jihad, holy war against infidels?
Well, isn't it the fact that we have Christians in America who call themselves dominionists who would take over the government?
Is that as big a problem as radical Islamists? Let's
I don't know. There are more Christians in America than Muslims.
And
I think
name me the most
is.
recent attack by one of these individuals.
I can't name an attack by any individual from the 7 states that have been identified.
San Bernardino, the Pulse nightclub, Fort Hood.
San Bernardino, not one of the 7 states. Correct.
Okay, in that case,
take Florida.
We have
not one of the 7 states.
But we have 72 people since 9/11. The judge in Seattle got it wrong. 72 people. Frank Gaffney, I'll throw it to you. That we know are from these 7 countries that, in fact, have been charged with terror-related incidences.
We have. It's preposterous to suggest that there isn't some connection between what these people believe, which they call Sharia, and their desire to impose it on the rest of us, which they think is Allah's will. And to
this is the caliphate. What you're describing is a caliphate.
It is their aspiration. It is their belief that that's God's will to impose Sharia worldwide under a sort of theocratic arrangement, which would enable them to have a caliphate.
Is that convert or die? Is that what you say?
It applies to people who aren't of the book. You convert or die.
And even
and by the way, applies to people of the book. You get one other choice, and that is to live enslaved. These are systems that have been established for 1,400 years. They are not American values, and I think the president's absolutely right to say we don't want them here.
Hang on 1 second. All right, so who else says that they don't think we're at war with radical Islam?
Well, fundamentally we're not. So one, since the Oklahoma City attack, there have been 40 terrorist attacks by white supremacist terrorists in America as well. So we can get that list.
Evil is evil.
It is evil, right? Yeah. I think the issue that we have as Muslims is affiliating these terrorists like ISIS, 97% of whom who their victims are Muslim, with Islam. Nothing in Islam says convert or die. Nothing in Islam says death to the infidel. The word jihad means a struggle against evil.
I'll throw this to Brigitte Gabriel, who lived under this in your life. He's describing his view, which I know are sincere. There's no disagreement. But the problem is, if you look at Islamic states, if you look at Saudi Arabia, if you look at Kuwait, if you look at UAE, and how many of those states women can't drive, women are told how to dress, gays and lesbians are killed, Sunni, Shia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, they do the same thing. Christians and Jews are persecuted. There are 16 countries, talk about a ban, that if you have an Israeli passport, you don't get to go in their country. So under Sharia, a Muslim state as practiced by multiple countries, it is as radicalized as it could be. True or false?
It is radicalized because they are practicing Sharia law. And Sharia law is no friend of Christians and Jews and anybody who's a non-Muslim. And I understand what Qasim is talking about, the Ahmadiyya movement. That's a new caliphate. They started in the 20th century. That's very different than a caliphate and an Islamic state that have started 1,400 years ago and now continued and now is resurrected in Iraq and Syria. The world is at a crossroad. We are truly facing a clash of civilization between Western civilization and Western values and Islamic civilization and Islamic values that are very different.
How many agree that there's a clash of civilizations? For example, if you come from a country where women can't drive, they're told by men how to dress, marital rape is legal, that gays and lesbians can be killed, that Christians and Jews are persecuted, and then people from those countries that they grew up under want to come to this country. Does everyone agree that's a clash of civilization? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Show of hands. How many disagree? It's not a clash.
It is not a clash.
You agree? Disagree?
Sean,
Sean,
back in the late 70s, early 80s, I did security for the royal family of Saudi Arabia. I made 24 trips over to Riyadh, Jeddah, and I was over there during I watched it on television, the killing of 100 people for various different crimes. Women were not driving, women up and all that. It's a different society. They cannot come, the people cannot come and impose that society in America. The gentleman sitting next to me, he's a reformed type of Muslim. He agrees.
But Brigitte pointed out, again, this is 20th century. We're not talking about an advanced...
But truly, a woman, gay, or anything like that, you go to Saudi Arabia, it ain't gonna happen.
Let me go to Imam. How are you, Imam?
Oh, I'm fine, Sean. Well, first of all, the moment you put the name Islam in front of it, you have negated any negativity that can follow it. That's all we're trying to say.
But you didn't answer my question. Are countries that are majority Muslim, run under Sharia law, many of whom, wouldn't accept somebody with a Jewish passport, many that tell these women how to dress, many that don't punish marital rape, many that kill gays and lesbians. I'm asking you, that's all done in the name of Islam, sir.
Well, if they do it in the name of Islam, they're wrong. All we're trying to tell you is Islam is a universal concept. We can't take
But it's happening. But here's my question. It's happening in so many countries. Wait a minute. And here's the thing. If you grow up under those values, how do you come to America and just dispense of them? And how do we know you're going to get rid of those values?
First of all, just step back a minute.
Good to see you.
We are not. Nice to see you.
How are you?
I'm great. There are 7.3 billion people on Earth. Over 1 billion of them are Muslims. We are not at war with 1 billion Muslims. We are at law
Did anybody
with
say
those.
that?
Yes, you are, because you're saying we're at a clash of civilization with the Muslims. Let me
Clash of
finish.
civilization with those. Wait. No, you're not going to put words on my mouth. No. I said, if you practice Sharia like Saudi Arabia, like Iran, like Kuwait, like UAE,
we had a clash of civilizations with the Islam, and we're not.
I never said those words. You're not listening. I said radical Islam. There's a difference.
No,
you all agree a difference?
Sean, can I
answer? Let me just finish. So we're not in a clash of let me just finish. We're not in a clash of civilization with the Muslim world, which some of the rhetoric surrounding this issue would imply. We are at war with those who subvert the Islamic religion to do us harm and others harm.
Coming up, more of Sean's audience show, Extreme Vetting, the Islamist Threat. Stay with us.